Hi again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Around the Town with Chuck. My name is Chuck Guglielmo. It's a weekly interview show where we talk with interesting people around the community, and we are taping the show on Wednesday, January the 31st. My guest today is new Conneaut High School baseball coach Bill Lips. Bill, thanks for joining us.
No, thanks for having me.
Of course, Bill, no stranger to the Conneaut school system. You were here in Conneaut when before?
Fall of 2000 through fall of 07.
And you were basically with the Spartans football team, was it?
Coached football out here, and I volunteered with the baseball program.
Okay.
Joel.
Didn't know you volunteered for the baseball program. That would have been with Joe Taylor?
Yep.
Okay, and the football was with
Ken
Paris?
Paris and Bob Lundeen.
Bob Lundeen, yeah, okay. So let's start there. I brought Bill into the show because Bill's got a very important fundraiser that we're going to be talking about as well. Well, let's get caught up a little bit, Bill. Let's go back to those football days when you were here in Conneaut under Coach Ken Paris. What were those years like, and how do you see the kids playing sports today versus back then? What differences are you seeing, or aren't you seeing any?
I think the game of football at the high school level, the biggest change is throwing the ball. I think more teams throw the ball than they did. You know, when I started, actually in 1987, this fall will be my 32nd year coaching high school. Yeah, make me
Long time, and you're only 54 years old?
Yeah, you're making me really feel old. Why, thank you. Yeah, so I would say that, you know, I can tell you that in 1987 I was coaching wide receivers, and our wide receivers were in three-point stances. So it's changed completely. We're throwing the ball a lot more. Therefore, the defenses have to really do a really good job of defending. You know, you're defending not only 100 yards field, your sideline to sideline has to be defended because receivers and quarterbacks and everybody's taking advantage of any hole in the defense.
Sure.
So I think it's defending the pass game and taking advantage of being able to play pitch and catch has been the biggest difference that I've seen since that I got involved in this.
Mm-hmm. What were those years like? How did the Spartans fare those years? Take me back.
Well, we won a league championship in 2000. That was the year we had like Jeff Dinger and the Kopaz brothers, and I'm hoping you remember some.
Yeah, I do.
I hope you remember them because I'm trying to remember Neil Simpson,
Matt Kopaz, right?
Yeah, Matt and Adam. Aaron Joslin, coaches with us now, was on that team. We had the Tantari brothers were big parts of that team.
Gary and Matt.
And we ended up tying for a league championship that year. I believe maybe with Harvey or somebody like that. I believe that was was that 2000, or that would have been.
I want to say 02, but I could be wrong.
I'm thinking it might have been 01. I don't, you know, everything kind of. I think that was the 2000 because the next year we were going to play the Canadian team, and we had 9/11 took place, and we ended up not playing that team because they closed the borders and all that. So I think that would have been the second year. But you know, the Conneaut kids are I've coached at a number of schools. Nobody's tougher than the Conneaut kids.
Is that right?
It's a fact. Yeah, the Conneaut kids are as tough as they come.
You mentioned back then playing against Harvey and tying for a conference. Do you ever see anything like that coming back, Bill? A lot of people are screaming for some type of a county league or something similar to an NEC versus what we have now as District 10.
Do I ever see it happening?
Yeah, do you ever see it happening again?
Schools have gone their separate ways, and whether it's Conneaut or Edgewood or PV or whatever, the schools around here, and they seem to at least say that they're happy where they're at. Everybody seems to be happy where they're at. If they're happy where they're at, they're not coming together. Or are they just saying they're happy where they're at? And it seems like within our county, anytime anybody gets together and puts something together, to try to put something together, and I know Steve Cray over at Edgewood really worked hard to try to put something in a county league together. It was Grand Valley's in that knack, and they're going to win a championship in there in some sport every year. That's how talented they are compared to the rest of the schools, and then I don't think they're leaving. I don't think there's a lot of lack of trust. There's schools that don't trust. Lakeside could be really, really big at some time and really, really good. And I don't think a team like Grand Valley or a team like PV wants to line up against a team like Lakeside. They're talented and they're physical and because of their sheer numbers. Now, when Lakeside gets in their league games and they're playing Warren Harding and they're playing Boardman and they're playing Austintown Fitch, well, now they're playing a huge. So it looks like maybe Lakeside's not as talented as the teams around here. Well, they're going and playing some of the best teams in the state of Ohio. I don't know if a team like Grand Valley and PV should be playing Lakeside if Lakeside's playing against some of the best teams in the state of Ohio, even if Lakeside's getting beat against those teams. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I just don't think, I know I was coaching in Geneva, and Geneva seems really, really happy in the conference they're in. You hear Grand Valley guys talk about they're really happy in that conference they're in. Jefferson people are really happy in the conference they're in. Edgewood people are really happy. If you're really happy where you're at, you're not gonna move somewhere else.
The Conneaut people say they're happy too where they're at because they haven't been in a conference for many years, so they're just happy to be in a conference. Of all those scenarios
If you haven't been on a date in a long, long time,
yeah.
And I don't care if you're dating an ugly girl,
right.
It's a fun date.
Of all those situations you mentioned, Bill, the only one I'm going to say that I think is really, really happy is probably Jefferson. I just feel that they're really happy. I'm not so sure about these other school districts if they're really happy.
You can only believe what they say.
Yeah, right.
If they tell you that, you got to take them at their word.
Right.
So I don't know. But I do know that we went over and played 2 years ago. We went over to Oil City, and we played against Oil City on a Friday night. And I don't know, we got lost coming home. We hit fog. It couldn't see. And we got home like at 12:20 in the evening. And it was a Friday night. I'm glad that wasn't, Tim Talbot had taken the basketball team over there on a Tuesday night,
right.
And kids having a test the next morning. So there are some logistic situations that don't make a lot of sense. But I really like playing against those teams. I really do, personally.
What doesn't make a lot of sense to me is Conneaut not playing Edgewood in a football game or a basketball game. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, they did play.
The two schools are 10 minutes apart.
I went to the basketball game this year, so
yes,
I know they did play.
Yes, they did. But football, they haven't played in 2 or 3 years, but I understand they're going to be on the schedule here in another year or so.
I don't know. We were just talking about the schedule. When I was driving in, I was talking to Coach Rock on the phone, and we were talking about next year's schedule and what we're trying to do. And we have a week 2 opening. So we're trying to fill that right now, and it has to be a home game because we have 9 games scheduled, and it's real hard now. You're talking February 1st, you're going to call somebody on the phone and say, hey, we need a game.
Yeah.
And they're going to say, okay, come to our place. No, you have to come to our place because we don't want a 6-4 deal, but right now we're 5 away, 4 home, so we want to schedule a home game week 2 with somebody. So if anybody out there has a week 2 game available, call them.
You're looking for an Ohio school?
We're looking for a school.
A school, okay. Doesn't matter where
That
they're
will
from.
come to Conneaut and play us, preferably a team we can beat. How's that sound?
That sounds really good.
So don't call Canton McKinley and
No,
you know what
no.
I mean. We want a team that we can play.
Especially if it's your home opener. And
Well,
that would be
yeah,
a home opener because you're going to open up in
We're
LaBrea.
going down to LaBrea.
Yeah. Bill, you mentioned you've been at other schools like Lakeside and Edgewood. Tell us what you've done at those schools as far as coaching goes.
Oh my Lord, I've been at a lot of schools and.
Well, tell me about all of them. I knew you.
I started out
at
at
Lakeside and
I
Edgewood.
started at Harbor back in 1987.
didn't know
I
that.
coached football, girls basketball, and coached baseball there. Yeah, and then
A lot of
from
things
there-
I don't know about you, Bill.
well,
I didn't know you were into girls basketball back then either.
any place at that point in time in my coaching life, I guess I was any way to make money at that time too, because I really, in the wintertime, I'd rather just be getting ready for baseball, to be honest with you.
Is that your favorite of all the sports? Now, see, I would have bet it was football.
I love coaching high school football, and I don't think there's anything better than Friday night. There's nothing better than Friday night. But the intricacies of baseball are stuff that just really is my passion. You know, I
Yeah,
just
it's
think
my
there's
favorite
nothing better than coaching pitchers, and you know, it's the best time of the year. The weather's starting to break. I just love it. So from that standpoint, but I was at Harbor, and I was there for 4 years, and I actually went over to Girard, Pennsylvania for a year, and ran the defense over there for a guy named Jim Britt, who's actually an offensive line coach now at Shard. Then I went down to PV with Ken for a couple of years and coached down there, and I actually coached basketball down there too. Coached ninth grade boys basketball down there. I coached baseball all over the place. You know, whenever I could get anything, summer programs, trying to put travel teams together, I was always trying to get involved in baseball. I was at left PV and went to Brookfield for 3 years, and I got a
Brookfield
teaching job
Warriors.
down there, and I was teaching government and doing and I coached the high school baseball team, and that was my first year as a head baseball coach. I was down there. I'd have been baseball coach in '99, 2000 down there, but we had a nice run down there football wise. You know, Conneaut's played Brookfield quite a bit, and there's been some really good Brookfield teams. When I tell you that the Conneaut kids are as tough as they come, boy, the Brookfield kids are right there. We had some teams at Brookfield, and we'll get this big fundraiser. We won a league in '99, and two of our captains, one of them's a comedian, and one's going to come and play music for us at the fundraiser. But the kids that I had at Brookfield, whether it was in the classroom, we had a run there of amazing people. There's world-renowned chefs. There's just a group of people there that come out of that place that did great things. Now, I don't know what it was in the water at that time or what it was, but they were toughest kids to coach. They would run through walls for you. They never missed practices, and we had a nice run there. And when I got a hold of the baseball program down there, we weren't very good. I got the job kind of late, and it didn't really matter because whatever you say as a coach is what we're going to do. And that was their mentality, no matter what it was. And it was really a great place to work and a great place to coach. And then I came up here in 2000 then with Ken, and then I started working with Joel at the same time with the baseball team. Left here and went over to Lakeside, and we worked as an offensive coordinator over there with Van McGreeth when he was there. Van, in the middle of the summer, took the Palmetto Valley principal's job about the 20th of July, and there's no football coach. I wasn't like seeking to be a head football coach, but we had a group of kids that needed some sort of leadership immediately. And so I took that job for 2 years, and I'm thrilled that I did. I'm thrilled that I was a head football coach at a certain time, and I don't think I will ever do it again, number one. And there are times in my life where I really wish I had never taken that job, because it was that browbeating of an experience. It was just, there's so many negatives about the job there that I had, and maybe lack of support and different things. It was just, it was 2 tough years for me. But they were good kids, kids that I'm going to one of the kids' weddings this summer that I coached. I mean, it's kids that I truly respect and love and had passion for, and we worked hard and we got after it. It was just, I was beaten down when I left. By the time I got out of there, I was beaten down, and it was 2010, and I said, I'm done coaching. I'm not coaching anymore. I didn't read a sports page until probably middle of the summer, and I wasn't watching sports. I was depressed. I was miserable. I was really just a miserable human. And Tony Hassett was at Geneva, and he asked me to come over there, just come to practice. I ran into him at the Menor Mall, and he just said, come to practice, come hang out, just come on. You got to be back in it. You know, you've been doing this too long. Why would you quit? Come on. So I went to one of his practices, and when I got to practice, his linebacker coach had to run and go do something, so he goes, hey, just take the linebackers, just run through the drills. Next thing you know, I was coaching linebackers at Geneva, because I still love what I was doing. And then Dave Melleradner contacted me about the Edgewood baseball job about the same time, and that's where I graduated from. I thought that was would be pretty good, so I did do that. I went over there and coached football for 1 year over there, and had the baseball job for 6 years, and I kind of bounced around. I was at Harvey a while, I went back to Geneva a while.
Wow, you have been a lot of places. I don't know, Bill, if this is going to be a fair question, so if it's not a fair question, you don't have to answer it. But of all those places you have been, would you say you had a favorite spot?
A favorite spot?
I mean, they were your best years, for whatever reasons.
You know, my son played sports at Conneaut. He was a quarterback and a really good pitcher and stuff, and coaching my son was special. It really was. I think Steve Cray does an unbelievable job as the Edgewood athletic director, and makes all his coaches feel like they're real. You know, he makes the coach feel like you're Joe Torre. You know, he makes the baseball coach feel like he's the most important baseball coach that ever lived. He makes the basketball. He makes you really feel good. So when you work for him, you really feel good. I coached with a guy by the name of Jeff Bruno down at Brookfield, and I thought Jeff Bruno was just a football savant. Just knew it, man, and I learned so much from him. I just loved working with him. So to say your favorite spot, you get so much. You know Rocco Dobrin? Come on.
I love the guy.
Come on, he's top shelf in my book.
I love the guy.
To say, I'm just telling you, I've had some great people to work with, and that's what it's all about, it's the people. Rocco is top shelf. I talked to Rocco for about 10 minutes, and you go, I'll work for that guy any day, whatever you want me to do. I'll clean water bottles, what do you need?
Share with me, Bill, what you like working about with Rocco, because I love the guy.
He doesn't have an ego. Oh, maybe he does, but he doesn't show it. I guess we all probably have an ego, but he doesn't have an ego. He's not a guy that's a me guy. It's the team. He genuinely cares about those kids.
No doubt.
Genuinely cares about the coaches. He has from day one. He's just said to take the offensive line and make sure they can block this stuff. Get them to do this. Go do, you know. He's never been, and there's head coaches out there that are all nervous about the offensive line. Believe me, as a head coach, I'm coaching the offensive line because I don't trust anybody else. So if you trust somebody, and he trusts me, so he trusts me. That's important. His banter with the kids, he genuinely cares about Conneaut. He cares about everything about this, the city, everything. And I just think, I'm telling you, I talked to him for 10 minutes. I go, I'm going to coach with that guy.
Oh yeah,
I was sold on. He is, you know, if he's not, you know, he's a New York strip steak. He's not a hamburger in my book. And I mean,
yeah, that's very good analogy of.
But from the
Rocco
standpoint of
Dobrin.
all my, they were all something. I got something great out of everything, and mainly friendships, and whether they were kids I coached that I'm still friends with, or people I coached with, or people I taught with. There are just there's great people out there. There really are great people out there.
Talking with Bill Lips, the new baseball coach here for the Conneaut Spartans, but not new to Conneaut as we've just heard. Bill, you're coming to Conneaut from Edgewood, where you coached the baseball team there, you said, for 6 years, and you had a very successful baseball tenure there at Edgewood. Now you're going to come here to Conneaut, where the team has struggled the last few years. What is your main goal, I should say, or what is going to be your challenge coaching, going from a successful team to a team that has struggled in the past?
You know, we had some successes over at Edgewood. We really did. You know, the 2015 team went to the regionals, and that's always been my goal, to get to the regional tournament. And it's no different right now. That's our goal. Our goal is to get out of the Jefferson district, get down to regionals. And I mean, when you go to regionals, you are treated like a king. I kid you not. They greet you at the bus. They take your, it's got to be like being in the major leagues. And when you get to the hotels, we took great batting practice at this, on their cages. Oh, it was awesome. And I want to go back. We lose 2-1 in 9 innings, and I still am haunted by that game. So we belong there. We belong there. Now, we have to change the mentality of the Conneaut baseball player. And I'll just tell us the quick stories. I have John West. John West is a 3-year starter on the baseball team. He played football for me. He's a really good kid, and he's a student of mine out at ATEC. I teach out there. And John, he would come into my study hall during, you know, and he would say, yeah, we didn't get 10 runs last night. And that was like a big goal. Don't get 10 runs. So it is real important for me to change a culture, to change the thought process, to change how we are going to compete, because I'm not sure they know how to compete. And if you talk to Rocco, and how did you go about changing what went on here in football? It's really the same concept. You have to make sure that you compete every at bat. You got to grind out at bats. That's number one. You can't give teams outs. You can't give away outs. You can't do those things. And then defensively, you have to play the simple game of catch. The team that plays the best game of catch normally wins. And you can't throw the ball around the yard. You got to catch it if it's hit to you. If it's thrown to you, you got to catch it. The team that plays the best game of catch wins high school baseball games. So we're going to stress those simple little fundamentals. I don't care what sport it is. If it's tennis or golf or tiddlywinks, you have to take care of the little things. And if you don't take care of little things, the big things are going to just bite you. Because that's, you know, so we're going to take care of simple things, catching the ball, you know, thumbs together when we receive the ball. We're not catching the ball and flipping the ball up. We're doing things fundamentally sound. And, you know, we've had some workouts and guys coming around, and they've bought into the fact that they want to be successful. I don't care what school you're at, whether it's a rural farming community or an inner city school. Kids want to be coached. They want to be successful. They might question why, because that's the new, you know, that's the millennials. Why we have to do this? You know, why are we doing this? What benefit is this? Then, okay, explain why we're going to do this way, and then move on. But we're going to take care of simple little things and then progress. But I do think we have to teach them to compete. That's competing every at-bat, whether it's we're in the field or we're at the plate. We have to compete every at-bat. We don't give anything away, and no matter what's going on, we're always fighting. Mm-hmm. We're always going to fight. And I think that's what Rocket did. Similar. I mean, obviously they weren't at-bats, but possessions. You got to fight every possession, whether it's their ball or our ball.
Yeah, back to Rocco for a minute. What he was real good at too when he first came here was he was able to recruit players that never played football before.
Right.
And they became very, very good. Agree or not, baseball is a very simple game, but of all the sports, to me, that's the game where you got to think the most. Do you agree with that or not?
Well, I think that if you're not thinking, you could really hurt the team, because there's lots of things that go on out there. You know, you got to spend a lot of time focused from when you get to the field to when you leave just on baseball. And I really think that's important. I can't stand when the kids are talking about don't get me wrong, chemistry is an important class, but you're not talking about it in the 5th inning. talk about baseball. So if a guy's on deck and he's not watching the pitcher, he's talking to his buddy in the dugout, you've lost focus. You have a job to do. So I don't know if it's a slow game. Baseball's a slow game. There's time in between pitches. A coach goes out and talks to the pitcher. A guy steps out of and gets the signs. Everything takes place. It's slow. So guys who are wanting it to happen like this, like a football game, snap the ball, go, or a basketball game that's fast-paced, baseball's slow-paced. So those guys that want to be a focused, sometimes they lose focus. The next thing you know, hey, did you see that girl in study hall today? She was smoking hot. And it's not what you're supposed to be talking about. You're supposed to be telling me, on a 2-2 pitch, did he throw you a fastball or a curveball? Not whether you saw the smoking hot girl with the skirt in study hall. So that's what we have to try to get them to be 3 hours on nothing but baseball. And that's real difficult sometimes because it's a slow game with lots of gaps. So we got to teach them how to compete.
Yeah, baseball is just around the corner now as we enter the month of February. Of course, we start baseball, in March here?
Well,
we try to start, right?
Oh, we will. We'll start.
I mean, weather issues around here, but with baseball.
I sometimes think our high school baseball schedule is a suggestion.
Yeah.
It's a suggestion. It's not really what we're, it's just,
Right.
This is a possibility that on the 10th of April, we're playing here. It's just a possibility.
Yeah. It's almost like baseball should be played when high school football is played, because the weather is good for baseball in September and October around
But
here.
you ever been to a high school football game on a Friday night? That's special.
It is special.
That's so special that we'll play
special.
We'll play it in the spring, and we went down. This had to be my first year at Edgewood. We went to Hockin, and they have turf field. They have a turf field. They kind of play their baseball field on there. I don't know what it is. It's like an all-purpose field. And they got bases there. There's no real infield. It's just a mound and a home plate and bases. There's no dirt areas. You slide right on the turf. Kind of a mess. Well, it snowed like crazy in the middle of the game. I felt like I was in the middle of a snow globe. But it didn't stick because there was no, we had like 5 snow delays. When we left there, it was 24 degrees.
Wow.
So you know what you're getting in for.
Yep.
And the team, sometimes you lose games because your kids can't handle the cold weather. You get maybe a young freshman that's playing, and he's like, oh, this is ridiculous because I've been playing baseball in the summertime.
Right.
I haven't been playing in the cold
Right.
weather. But sometimes you just got to play it. You got to play through the elements and try to get it to work. And, hopefully they'll let the pitchers blow on their hands and those types of things. So.
Who will be helping you this year in the baseball team? Who you got for coaches?
Matt Pape
Okay.
and Chris Newcomb.
Okay. Very good. And pitching still the name of the game, isn't it?
Always. I don't care what level. You got to have a stable of arms. I'm leaving a program that was kind of the forte over at Edgewood. We've had pitching, and I think confidence-wise, I'm confident that I can develop pitching. We got some guys here that seem to have the size and the finger structure and the length to hopefully develop as pitchers, and that's what you look at. You're going to think that you're going to probably use 12 pitchers in the spring. That's what I always think we're going to use now. The 12 pitchers maybe getting 3 innings. But you're going to use them.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to have guys that are ready to go, and hopefully you have some experienced guys back. It doesn't sound like that we do. Most of the pitching was senior laden last year at Conneaut, so we're going to have to develop it and get it to game ready in a hurry.
In high school, Bill, what do you aim for? Three starters, is it, or 4?
5.
5 starters.
I know. I don't know. I just want. Sometimes I just piece games together. You got 40 in your arm. You got 35 in your arm. How many pitches you got in your arm? And we'll piece a game together. And if I have a really good number 1, I'm really, really happy. If I can get 2 guys that maybe are number 1s, I'm thrilled. I was blessed over. One year I had 3 number 1s at Edgewood. And you're blessed.
Yeah. How many innings would you allow them to pitch in a week?
It's all pitch count now, it's numbers. But, you know, I mean, once you get to about 80 pitches in a night, everything starts to fall apart on you. I don't care if you're the number 1 guy or the number 12 guy. You know, there's a number that everybody hits that wall, and, you know, you can visually see his fastball slow down, and you go, got to get somebody loose, you know. So, I've had guys that have thrown a complete game on Monday and a complete game on Friday, but they're special. And their numbers on Monday might have only been,
Right.
you know, they might have only hit 80 pitches on Monday, and they can come back a little earlier. Now, if they're throwing 95 to 105 on Monday, they're not pitching on Friday.
I want to talk about your fundraiser before we end the interview, but one more baseball question, Bill. They say a starting pitcher can go through a batting lineup maybe twice and be successful, and then you start to worry about it the third time he faces the batting order. Do you view it that way, or do you just view how he's
I
performing?
think if he's, I just look at what's his stuff done. Has he lost anything on his fastball late in the game? I think at the high school level, a good hitter is going to hit a good pitcher. A good pitcher is going to get a good hitter out. A good pitcher should get everybody out that's not classified that good hitter. So if your number 1 should handle everybody in the lineup.
Sure.
He should just handle everybody in the lineup. Now, there's going to be a couple guys that, you know, dink one in. It's baseball. You know, you can hit one off the handle and get a base hit. You hit one on the screws and you're out.
Anybody with a bat in their hand, this is dangerous. Yeah.
So what I always think is sometimes that guy wants the bullpen in. He wants that. You know, my number 1's out there, he's out there. And if they think they probably hit the guy that's coming in now is maybe the number 6 guy. Well, just because we made a pitching change doesn't mean I'm going to somebody that's equal to the guy that's on the mound. So I think that a good pitcher at some point in time has to become a smart pitcher too, where, all right, I'm starting to run out of something here. All right, we got to talk. We got to start hitting some locations. You got to get back and don't use that fastball as much because you've lost some of the speed on that fastball. They're going to catch up to it, and let's, you know, maybe cut the fastball a little bit rather than run it. Do something different. But we got to talk about those late inning adjustment. You know, and then maybe defend it a little different. Get into a no doubles defense where we know they're going to hit that fastball. Let's back those outfielders up and do some different things like that to make those adjustments defensively, because we've lost some hair on our fastball.
Very good. All right, the Conneaut Spartan baseball team has a big fundraiser coming up. Tell us about that, Bill.
Well, it seems like the big or the easy way, and I'm not saying it's easy because they're hard to run, is the reverse raffle. Let's have a reverse raffle, let's make money. Well, I just wondered how we can do something that isn't a reverse raffle, but make reverse raffle type of profit. Mm-hmm. So there's a guy that I coached at Brookfield who is killing it as a comedian. He's written for Saturday Night Live. He has been over on the USO tours over with the armed forces, and you know, he's in Atlantic City, he's in Vegas, he goes, you know, San Antonio, Denver, wherever. He's all over the place, New York City. So I sent him a message. I said, hey, what do you think? Let's do it. If I was to put together a night in Conneaut, you're the headliner, it's a fundraiser, what do you think we can do this? Let's do it. Give me a date. Well, I was just kind of, you know, throwing it up there, seeing if he'd hit it. No, let's do it. Let's give me a date. I'll bring comics. I'll take care of it. So we're running this thing on the 10th at the Legion. $30 a ticket.
March 10th.
March 10th. Over at the Conneaut American Legion. 6 o'clock, you come in, and 7 o'clock dinner. We'll have a dinner for you. The comedians will come on at 8 o'clock. There's going to be 3 comedians. Mark Riccadonna, who I can tell you stories about Mark when I had him in class. He was a tough kid to have in class because he was so damn funny that the class never got off to a start. You just knew that he was going to do something. Then he started writing for Weekend Update, for Saturday Night Live, and and I've seen him in action. He is absolutely hilarious. He's bringing with him his buddy Sean Lynch, who was in the show Walking Dead, and he's he's an Irish guy that makes fun of the Irish. He's really a good comic. And the other guy, Jerry Jaffe, Mark has seen him. He said that he's a Cleveland comic, and he's going to come down. So we're going to have those 3 comics. Now, Mark was a captain on our championship team at Brookfield. He was an offensive tackle and a defensive tackle. He's a really, really good wrestler, too. And Ryan Ross got word of this and said, he's got bands in Youngstown, and he writes music, and he does this. He's going to come up and play some music while we eat. So we'll have some little background music while we eat. It's going to be a good night. Ryan was also captain on that same championship team in '99. He was a wide receiver for us and backup quarterback. And Ryan actually played first base for me on my first team over at Brookfield too. So it's going to be we're going to have some Conneaut gear to sell. We're going to have baseball gear. We're going to raffle off 4 baskets, trying to get the classes, the junior class versus the senior class, versus see what parents, make the best basket you can, and we're going to raffle those baskets off. We have a TV raffle. Aaron Joslin Landis Insurance donated a big screen TV. So right now we're running a TV raffle, which is going to help generate funds to pay for all the, the booze, the hall, the comics, the food. So we got everything paid for. So we really thank Aaron for that purchase. And we're just hoping for a great night.
It sounds like it's going to be a great fun-filled night. March 10th, that's a Saturday, I take it.
It's a Saturday night at the Legion, 6 o'clock. Come out, enjoy, bring some cash. We'll have 50-50 raffle, spend a little money, help the baseball team. What we want to do is just want to have a program that the community's proud of. And whether that means wins, losses, or what it means from that standpoint, I just don't want to coach jugheads. I want to make sure that they're good men, that they're prepared for what happens after graduation, anything that I can do to help them out. But we're going to make sure that we compete, that we play hard, and that we always play with class. And that's what we're going to do. And hopefully with this fundraiser, we can, start to build this winning culture here. Really,
that is great, and I'm looking forward to it myself. And Bill, we want to wish you the best of luck with that fundraiser and with the baseball team.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, Bill Lips, my guest today, Conneaut Spartan baseball coach on Around the Town with Chuck.